I had really been just a good PTSA mom until then. You know, I had really just sucked it up. TJ had been ranked the #1 high school in America by US News and World Report.
I believe TJ is the only school ever launched a rocket into space.
The jewel on the crown, the #1 high school in the nation.
Thrilled to be here at Thomas Jefferson High School for Science and Technology.
I mean, there has been an anti-Asian feel underlying some of this. Hate to say it, LOL.
Education, that's not their concern. Their concern is about power and control.
Chairman Collier, Superintendent Spillane, Principal Murphy, Principal Valreth, and Walter Culver, Trustee of the Fairfax County Public Schools Education Foundation. It's great to be here with all of you at Thomas Jefferson High School. I remember telling Tom that if he worked hard and applied himself one day, they might even name a school after him.
Thomas Jefferson High School was founded in 1985.
Hey, Sarah.
Specifically designed for gifted students.
President Reagan at that time think that we need to have more STEM-focused students, you know, technology and those things. For a lot of immigrant families, they want a good education, but they cannot afford private school. And TJ is a place for them to go.
TJ implemented a competitive admissions process. It's always been race blind. It's always been based on a student's ability to score highly on a standardized test.
How's it going? Over time, you started seeing like the school become more and more Asian, or predominantly Asian.
In the last 5 years, its incoming classes have had between 65 and 70% Asian students.
4,000 or 5,000 students get into the first round.
And in the end, you will have only 500 people. So it's pretty tough.
It didn't matter your race, it didn't matter who your parents were, it didn't matter where you came from. Your chance of getting into TJ was based purely on your performance on this TJ admissions test.
A lot of people we talk about, we came here with very little in the pocket. In Chinese, we have also have some saying. There is fortune in the book, which is if you want a better future, better life in the future, study. This is your way. The importance of education, it's built in our culture. And the people came here because it's America. It's the best country in the world.
These are families that use their money to maybe go home to India or China, but rarely will take a cruise through the Bahamas.
I bought those Singapore masks for them and then play with them.
These are families that have potluck dinners with their friends, not cocktail parties at the country club.
Just normal people. I think the big difference is they do put very heavy emphasis on their students' education.
Khan's Academy is the best. Just sign up an account for your kids and then you can learn.
It's free?
It's free. It's free. But you can give donation. I always give donation.
And the whole family invested on that. The whole family pay attention to that. I think that's produced the difference.
They came to this country because it was a land of opportunity. Based on meritocracy, they're able to show that they have the ability and hard work and effort that they will be rewarded for when they take the test for TJ.
America is a great country. You never say, because of the skin, you deserve the school more than other people. Not like that.
The first time we are seeing the moments leading up to the arrest of George Floyd. Newly released videos from the...
Dear TJHSST students and families, disturbing and painful action in our country have jarred us from our COVID-19 slumber. We are awakened to see that our country's normal continues to be laced with racism that has plagued our nation since its founding. Please think of privileges you hold that others may not. By evaluating the racial equity at our school, you may play a role in how TJHSST continues to lead the nation. Thank you for joining in this important work. Sincerely, Ann Benatabas, TJHSST principal.
Typically, TJ has had low percentages of Black and Hispanic students.
There's quite a bit of change in the past couple years, and equity has been mentioned.
What do administrators and school boards in Nova think about equity?
The school board, they love it, right? Is that your question?
We've seen the rise, the necessary rise of a social justice movement for us to look more carefully at equity in all that we do here in Fairfax County Public Schools. And we faced a moment for us.
And all of a sudden we hear it in every institution that they're going to achieve equity.
Fairfax County Public Schools, this is the receipt. They spent $20,000 for a 1-hour online video call with Ibram X. Kendi.
Ibram Kendi, where he was paid, I believe, like $20,000 for a 40-minute CRT lecture via Zoom.
Welcome to the next episode of the Talks at Google Search for Racial Equity series. And I'm thrilled to be in conversation today with Professor Ibram X. Kendi.
It's Ibram X. Kendi's ideology that is fueling this idea that equity is a priority over equality.
If you have a racial disparity, then there are racist policies, racial policies behind that inequity. This does not have to be that difficult.
Some sharp reaction tonight, especially at a time when school districts across the region are strapped for cash.
He's a great example of what you call a race hustler.
$1,000 price tag means the district paid Ibram Kendi more than $300 a minute.
He's quoted for saying that to remedy past discrimination, you have to have future discrimination.
You fix past discrimination with present discrimination.
The remedy of the past discrimination is today's discrimination.
Getting into the brains of our school board members, teachers, principals.
This is a moment for us to do the right thing for our kids and the right thing for equity.
Well, they seized upon the George Floyd tragedy. I mean, they said, George Floyd happened, now we need to strike while the iron is hot.
And I think this is a moment when we are saying it's time for a call to action for equity.
They're obsessed with it. They're obsessed with equity.
Now, when we talk about equity, it's not just when we're talking about equity.
Is leading with equity at the center. Dr. Braban.
You have to have equity in order to have equal outcome.
We have to even reimagine what we consider to be intelligence. We have to reimagine what we consider to be, quote, qualified.
That's what they were trying to do at TJ. They were trying to basically rig the system and engineer it so that they would have the racial makeup that they believed they needed to have. And what that meant was they wanted to get rid of the Asian students.
You know, we have been led to believe that the most intelligent students are those students who know the most.
Well, What they believe, they have to bring up the Black and Hispanic group by getting rid of the entry exam. They felt the entry exam, it was too hard for some of the students in order for the other racial groups to go up. It means that Asian numbers has to be dropped down.
1,000 colleges already across the country are walking away from standardized admissions and coming up with a more holistic approach.
So they eliminated the test.
Every other race saw its numbers go up, and the Asians were the only ones that were penalized. The school board members made it very clear that they wanted to reduce the number of Asian students.
To ensure that we are more demographically representative of the region.
And we need to recognize today that TJ should reflect the diversity of Fairfax County Public Schools, the community.
Because of discovery in the lawsuit by Pacific Legal Foundation, we ended up learning. They actually knew they were being racist.
Yeah, these were text messages sent between members of the board.
One of the school board member says, this definitely has an anti-Asian flavor.
I mean, there has been an anti-Asian feel underlying some of this. Hate to say it, LOL.
They're saying that this has an anti-Asian feel, they're laughing about it.
This has become a joke to these guys.
So they know what they were doing, but still.
We decided we were going to have a protest. We were going to have a rally, we even called it. 200 people showed up with signs in every language.
It's made advocates of parents who wouldn't call themselves advocates before. And it's really made school boards have to realize that these parents are involved.
They don't expect you to show up at the school board meetings. Just showing up does accomplish a lot.
Ms. Nomani, you are recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you so much. Thank you to all the distinguished lawmakers that are here today.
Can we see it? Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. There you go.
Okay. Yeah, I want to make sure that you can see it just right. I got this.
Parents were speaking up at school board meetings. The National Association for Superintendents, which issued a letter to Merrick Garland asking for support and calling parents domestic terrorists. And then Merrick Garland directing national assets from the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, to identify parents and to identify potential threats. It was an intimidation tactic.
They labeled concerned parents as domestic terrorists for expressing their views about what's happening in their curriculum. And so,
I mean, no one's committing crimes, no one's doing any violent acts. These are parents exercising their First Amendment right.
We are parents, mama bears and papa bears. We do not want to be called domestic terrorists when we are protecting our baby cubs. We must all stand together for our country. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Nomani.
I don't remember since when it's like trying to blame people. For the kids just want to live a normal life.
After I come to this country, one of the things that amazed me is how people get along, and people of all sorts of racial background. And that is a miracle. That is not the norm, and Americans should understand it. And what's unique about America is not that racism is in the DNA of American culture, no. What's in American culture is individual liberty. That set us apart from all other civilizations and all other cultures.
Justice should be fair to everybody. And if this nation is not holding that truth, then we don't really have the foundation for this country.